Bringing you the news from around the globe and here in Sri Lanka. This is the news at 9, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo. A very good evening. I'm Joel Outscoot.
And I'm Mahina Bongzo. Here's a look at the headlines.
Chairman of the Maharaja Organization, Mr. Raja Mahendran's attorney, responding to a letter of demand by Dilip Jaivira's attorney, says if frivolous legal action is filed, Jaivira would be countersued for 20 billion rupees. President says that a new parliament will be elected by September.
විවස්ථා සභාව පිහිටවීමෙන් පසු පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසිරීමටයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
MPs Basil Rajapaksa and Sergeant Divas Gunawardena further remanded. FCID records statement from former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Money saved through amended plans for Kadavada-Keravalapitia highway to be paid to relevant company for the construction of another road. An Action TV expose.
On tonight's top story, Attorney-at-Law G.G. Arul Pragasam, representing the chairman of the Capital Maharaja Organization, R. Rajamahendran, has addressed a letter to Attorney-at-Law Saman Senadira in response to a letter he had directed on the instructions of his client, businessman Dilip Jaivira. According to the letter, G.G. Arul Pragasam states that his client has instructed that if any frivolous action is filed by Dilip Jaivira against his client, he would sue Jaivira for 20 billion rupees as damages for malicious institution of civil proceedings.
The letter was dispatched to Attorney-at-Law Saman Senadira this afternoon by Attorney-at-Law G.G. Arul Pragasam, acting on the instructions of the chairman of the Capital Maharaja Organization. Arul Pragasam states in the letter that it is crystal clear that Dilip Jaivira has no cause of action against his client and any law student would be aware of it. Arul Pragasam writes that Attorney-at-Law Saman Senadira claims that his client Dilip Jaivira is a graduate and a lawyer by profession. As such, he notes that it is clear there are mala fide on the part of Dilip Jaivira. Attorney-at-Law Arul Pragasam writes that if action is instituted against his client, Mr. R. Rajamahendran, suitable legal action would be taken against Dilip Jaivira for abuse of process of court. Arul Pragasam states that he has been instructed by his client to state that if any frivolous action is filed by Jaivira against his client, steps will be taken by Mr. Rajamahendran to sue Jaivira for 20 billion rupees as damages for malicious institution of civil proceedings. In such an event, Arul Pragasam states, and I quote, Mr. Rajamahendran would also take steps to prevent your client from disposing the assets of your client pending the hearing of the case, so that my client could successfully recover his damages from your client. End quote. The letter written by Attorney-at-Law G.G. Arul Pragasam states that the relevant TV channels had every right in law to make the telecasts referred to in the letter sent by Attorney-at-Law Saman Senadira on the instructions of Dilip Jaivira.
The National War Heroes Commemoration ceremony took place this evening and was presided by President Maithripala Sirisena.
The fallen war heroes who made the supreme sacrifice on behalf of the motherland were remembered today at the Cenotaph Close to the Parliamentary Complex at 4 this evening. The Prime Minister, Ministers and MPs, top brass of the security forces and the families of war heroes were also in attendance. The ceremony began after the arrival of President Maithripala Sirisena. Religious leaders also invoked blessings on the war heroes who sacrificed their lives for the motherland. The President then addressed the gathering.
On one hand as the head of state, on the other as the Republic of Sri Lanka and as a whole Sri Lankan nation, today we pay our respects to these sons of the nation who made the ultimate sacrifice. As a Buddhist, I pray that they attain Nibbana and be reborn in our motherland.
නැවතත් අපේ මාතෘ භූමියේ උපදින මැනුයි රත්තරන් ලංකා පුත්‍රයිනේ දරුවනේ.
ශ්‍රී ලාංකය අපි ජාති බේද
We, Sri Lankans, are citizens of a free and peaceful country, living in unity devoid of race, religion and caste. It was a brave war heroes who won freedom for the motherland. Today we are enjoying the benefits of these sacrifices that were made by the leaders and commanders who provided leadership to those war heroes. We need to unite to protect this freedom that was achieved through the sacrifices made by the war heroes.
අපි ඒකරාශී වෙමු.
The placing of floral tributes to the fallen war heroes commenced under the auspices of the President. Later, the families also remembered tributes to the fallen war heroes commenced under the auspices of the President. Later, the families also remembered their fallen loved ones.
President Maithripala Sirisena said today that a new parliament will be established come September. The president was speaking at a meeting with heads of media institutions at President's house this morning.
අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් විදියට දැන් මේ තිබෙන පසුබිම එක්ක ආණ්ඩුවේ මීළඟ
Given the current atmosphere, the next step of the new government is the general election. There are certain matters that need to be taken up in Parliament prior to the dissolution of Parliament for a general election. The Constitutional Council has not been established as yet. I hope to dissolve Parliament after the Constitutional Council is established. At the same time, there is a 20th Amendment which deals with electoral reforms. The preferential voting system caused the attraction, acceptance and respect of the people towards the politician to diminish. Thereby, limitless sums of money are spent during an election to build their personal image. In general, an absolute majority of Parliament, not all 225, are calling for the election to be held under the current system. We will be able to act on this based on the discussions held this week on the 20th Amendment. The Elections Commissioner is the one who decides on the dates of the general election. By September, a new parliament will be established.
The President also spoke on the prevailing problem in Vilpattu.
This was done under the previous regime through a task force which was led by Basil Rajapaksa. Land belonging to the Forest Conservation Department was released for displaced families based on a decision of the task force. When a state land is released for any purpose, be it agriculture or anything else, all of the trees on that land still belong to the government and must be cut down by the State Timber Corporation together with the Forest Conservation Department. But what has happened here is that the task force has decided to give the trees to the person who got the land as well. That is wrong under the state land policy. As a result, a large forest area has been cleared. We hope to select a suitable land in the future which will prevent destruction of a forest such as this.
Welcome back to the news. The Bhoomi Rally for Unity, which is carrying the message of national unity across the island, commenced its journey today from Puttlam.
Puttlam is an area where all communities are represented. Day 13 of the Run Bhoomi rally was flagged off from the Puttlam town. The ceremony to flag off the convoy was presided over by Niroshan Pereira, the State Minister of Youth Affairs. The marching bands of several schools in Puttlam performed at the event to add more colour. A community with African origins living in the Sirimbiadi area in Puttlam performed a tribal dance which caught the attention of all those who gathered.
මේ රටට අවශ්‍ය වෙලා තියෙන්නේ සියලු දෙනාම එකතු වෙලා.
The need of the country is to bring everyone together and strengthen the country. We are aware that the MTV MBC Media Network works for the development of the country and a good governance system according to the needs of the country, raising awareness amongst the masses. They have used the strength of the masses to strengthen the country.
මේ රට ශක්තිමත් කරන්නට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා තියෙනවා.
The brick engraved with the name of Puttlam was then placed in the special float of the Run Bhoomi Rally for Unity.
This program organized by the MTV MBC Media Network is a great initiative for the nation to come together, think together and work together devoid of race and religion.
සාමූහිකව හිතන්න එකට වැඩ කරන්න උදා වුණු අවස්ථාවක් හැටියට මම මේක දකින්නේ. සතර දිගින් එන සමරොද බඳින්නේ රන් භූමියයි මේ අපේ ඔන්ගිනගිල් වේගම් නම් සේකයිල් කාලෝ වලට චිවිල් වේගම් නම් කුලක් තිනල් කුඩුම් උදමයින් මෝගම් නම් දේශමේ යාගම් මිනිස්සුන්ගේ හදවත් වලට මේ සාමයේ පණිවිඩය යන්න ඕන හැම ගමකම හැම ජනතාවකටම හැම ජනවාර්ගයකටම ඉතින් මේ රන් භූමි චාරිකාව තුළ ඔබ දකින්නේ ගම්නියම් නගරහරා යනකොට අපේ රටේ සියලු කාලේ මේ වැඩසටහන.
After leaving Puttlam, the rally reached Madurankulya this morning. The people of Madurankulya etched their mark on the Run Bhoomi Rally for Unity with the contribution of a brick with the engraving. The Run Bhoomi Rally for Unity then reached its destination for the day this evening, where the locals joined in the convoy in a motorcade. Arachi Khattua was the 39th stop of the Run Bhoomi Rally for Unity, which will travel across 1,500 villages and towns during its tour around the country. Organized by MTV MBC, Newsfirst, Colombo Port City and the National Youth Services Council, the Run Bhoomi Rally will travel to Nattandiya, passing Chilao and Madampe tomorrow.
Well, up next is a headline-making story on Action TV.
On the 22nd of April, the Minister of Highways had presented a proposal to the Cabinet for approval to process with the third phase of construction of the Colombo Outer Ring Road project.
This can be termed as a hasty act based on one factor, which is the fact that the three-member committee appointed by the minister to evaluate the technical and financial aspects of the project to optimize the cost had already undertaken the task when this proposal was presented to the cabinet. Thereby, this proposal was one that was not presented after conducting an evaluation on reducing the construction cost. Although this proposal does not mention the exact amount that was reduced from the initial cost of 66,689 million rupees by this three-member committee, it indicates 3 actions that will be undertaken based on the recommendations made by this three-member committee. The first is to construct the highway with 4 lanes and not 6 lanes as mentioned in the initial plan that was approved by the previous government. The second is the reduction of the length of the viaducts of this construction, while the third is to reduce the height of the viaducts of this construction. According to this, it is estimated that substantial savings could be achieved through these changes. In a backdrop where the estimated cost reduction is not mentioned in the proposal presented to Cabinet, Cabinet had granted approval for a project exceeding the cost of 66,689 million rupees. Therefore, the cost mentioned for the project approved by the Cabinet on the 22nd of April 2015 and the cost approved by the Cabinet on the 31st of January 2013 are not different when calculated to the final cent. The only thing that stands out is that the size of the construction, as mentioned in the initial plan, has been reduced according to this proposal, and the shape is also being changed. What will happen to the sum of money that will be saved? Details of this and the review conducted by the three-member committee appointed by the Minister on Action TV tomorrow.
The 9th suspect connected to the rape and murder of a schoolgirl in Jaffna was arrested in Vellavatta. Police media spokesperson ASP Rangunasekara said that the suspect had fled to Colombo after the crime. As information had reached the locals that the suspect was to be produced before the Jaffna Magistrates Court today, they gathered opposite the court premises this morning. Police said that moments later a tense situation arose. Protesters had also damaged several vehicles that were parked at the court premises. Police had fired tear gas to control the situation. Police added that 127 arrests were made. Meanwhile, demonstrations were held in Puttalam, Mana and Vavuniya today, urging that justice be served for the victim's family. Demonstrations in Jaffna also caused disruptions to the day-to-day activities of those living in the area. 3 suspects who were arrested over these heinous crimes were remanded until the 28th, while 5 others were remanded until the 1st of June. It has been revealed that the mother of the victim provided information as a witness against one of the suspects who is in remand custody at present.
9
youth raped this girl and later murdered her. This is a crime that deserves the highest punishment available in the country. According to the law, even the death sentence can be imposed. But since the death penalty is not used in our country, 20-year prison sentences can be meted out on them. Brick by brick, our hearts become one. Run Bhoomi, Rally for Unity. 20th May, 9 a.m. Puttalam, 11 a.m. Madurankuli, 2 p.m. Arachikattuva, 21st May, 9 a.m. Chilau, 11 a.m. Madampe, 2 p.m. Nathandia, 22nd May, 9 a.m. Nigambo, 11 a.m. Sandalankava, 2 p.m. Kuliapitiya. Join us now for the nation's biggest rally.
Welcome back. You're watching Primetime News. In another one of our headline-making stories, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa was further remanded until the 27th of this month. The decision was handed down when the case was taken up at the Kaduvela Magistrates Court today.
former minister Basil Rajapaksa and 4 others were arrested and remanded on charges of financial irregularities at the Divi Nagoma department. Basil Rajapaksa arrived at the magistrates' court in an ambulance and Magistrate Dhammika Hemapala inspected the former minister in the ambulance. When the case was taken up today, the magistrate ordered that the group, including Basil Rajapaksa, be further remanded until the 27th of this month. Bail applications are also to be considered on that day.
Senior State Counsel Tusit Mudalige represented the Attorney General in courts. One thing he stated was that the B reports that are produced are not sufficient with regard to the facts that have been produced and that they will investigate into this thoroughly. He stated that a decision will be taken within 10 days whether there are enough facts to file cases against these individuals or to release them. He further stated that the Attorney General will take a decision on what case to pursue. The auditor's reports that have been produced are of utmost importance. We explained this to them that if there is no issue in the audit report, then criminality cannot be established.
Meanwhile, a group staged a demonstration opposite the Kadula Magistrates Court claiming that the remanding of former Minister Basil Rajapaksa is unjust.
Former monitoring MP Sajin Divasgunabodhan was further remanded until the 3rd of June after he was produced before the 4th Magistrate Priyantha Leonige today.
The Criminal Investigations Department arrested former MP Sajin Divasgunabodhan over the misuse of 23 vehicles of the Presidential Secretariat. The 4th Magistrate further remanded the former MP, having rejected a bail application. The CID presenting information to the court stated that the suspect had repainted 2 vehicles without any authorization and had used the vehicles for a private company in which he is a consultant. The CID added that one of the vehicles was seized in Rajgiriya being driven under a forged registration number. Meanwhile, the former Presidential Coordinating Secretary in charge of Divi Nagama program of the Putlam district was also further remanded until the 3rd of next month. The CID noted that this Coordinating Secretary had received a vehicle from a private security firm in which MP Sajin Divas is a consultant. The 2 suspects were returned to remand custody after the CID requested that bail be rejected.
The Financial Crimes Investigations Division recorded a statement from the former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa today.
Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara said that a statement was recorded from the former Defence Secretary in connection to alleged financial fraud said to have taken place at Lanka hospitals.
The Criminal Investigations Department interrogated parliamentarian Vimal Veerwansa today.
The Criminal Investigations Department recorded a statement from MP Vimal Veerawansa in connection with the incident where his wife Sashi Veerawansa had obtained a false passport and national identity card. After the interrogation, Veerawansa expressed his views to the media.
The CID summoned me here saying they needed to question me about my wife's passport. So I came. They questioned me on the matter. I provided a statement and they recorded it. With that, they concluded the matter. I do not know what steps they will take next.
Moving on to proceedings from the House of Legislature, speaking in Parliament today, Speaker Chama Rajapaksa stated that before proposals regarding the Governor of the Central Bank and the Director General of the Bribery Commission are taken up for debate, investigations should be carried out by a committee. The Speaker noted that a debate can take place once its report is presented to Parliament. The Speaker announced his decision yesterday while a tense situation arose in Parliament regarding the proposals.
අදාළ යෝජනාධික සභාවේදී විවාදයට ගැනීමට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට බලය
Parliament has the power to take up these two proposals for debate. However, prior to the debate, I have decided that it is suitable for the committee set up by Parliament or a special committee set up for this purpose to investigate the details of these proposals. I have also decided that a report containing the findings and recommendations of the committee should be tabled in Parliament immediately and thereafter taken up for debate. If not, the proposals made regarding the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka should be directed to the Committee on Public Enterprises, and investigations should be conducted by a subcommittee appointed by the COP chairman. It is suitable to table its report in Parliament within 2 weeks.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today provided a reply to a question posed by the leader of the opposition in Parliament yesterday.
We signed the Commonwealth Heads of Government Declaration in 2013. President Maithripala Sirisena is the chair in office of the Commonwealth. As the chair, he cannot act against this declaration. The final decision can be made by Parliament, but we have a right. This talks about the rule of law. How do we implement it? We will obtain their views and present it to Parliament. Parliament will make the final decision, not any other entity. We are saying this because you signed the declaration in 2013. If it was not signed then, there would be no need for us to inquire from them. On the other hand, it is a procedure to eradicate corruption, and we stand by that. That is why we have especially mentioned that we will act in line with Parliament. There is no need for a clash with Parliament.
In more local news, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party convened a press conference in Colombo today. Views were expressed on the Financial Crimes Investigations Division at this press conference.
මූල්‍ය අපරාධ විමර්ශන කොට්ටාසයක් පිටවලා ඒක කැබිනට් අනුකාරක සභාවක් මගින්
A Financial Crimes Investigation Division has been established, and the investigations are steered by a Cabinet subcommittee through the Office of the Prime Minister. My political definition is as follows. The government is operating today as fascists. The signs of the fascist government is that they hunt their opponents by establishing such organizations with some form of legal basis. If this continues, no officer will be able to work.
මේව ගියොත් නිලධාරියෙක් කවදාවත් වැඩ කරන්නේ අමාත්‍යවරයෙක් තීන්දුවක් ගන්නෑ.
Attention was also drawn to the content of the committee report on the treasury bonds.
දැන් මේකේ ප්‍රධාන කරුණු පහක් highlight කරනවා.
5 points have been highlighted here. This is Article A. There is no legal barrier preventing a dealer purchasing shares through a separate primary dealer. However, this is an unusual situation. Many unusual situations are taking place. This is just one of them. Article B states that although this transaction has taken place without the approval of the Administrative Board or the Central Bank was not made aware of this. What if this matter was taken to the FCID? The Central Bank is public property. Bail will not be granted at all. The main dealer of the Central Bank has failed to execute his duties to the letter. All this is said in the report. The manner in which funds are obtained has not been investigated. The statement of the Chief Executive Officer is not contradictory but is not transparent at all. The statements made by those from these two institutions contradict each other. This is the report of the committee appointed by the Prime Minister. There is the Governor and the Deputy Governors in the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Will they too be taken to the FCID? Will the B report on public property offences be presented to court, and will they be remanded? Even though they are not nabbed now, subsequent to the parliamentary elections, they will definitely be apprehended. Views were also expressed on the Prime Minister and the court decision on former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The judicial power on fundamental rights was implemented on the application of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. What is Ranil Wickremesinghe ranting about now? He is attempting to instill fear in the judiciary. We need to clearly make note of this. This is good governance, and the President says that the judiciary is independent. Hours later, the Prime Minister makes such a statement. There is an issue here. I will meet the law experts, and I will also visit the Commonwealth.
Speaking at the 68th World Health Assembly in Geneva yesterday, Minister of Health and Indigenous Medicine Dr. Rajitha Senaratne highlighted the progress Sri Lanka has made in achieving the Millennium Development Goals and universal health coverage.
The 68th World Health Assembly is currently being held in Geneva under the theme Building a Resilient Health System. Addressing the Assembly yesterday, Dr. Senaratne said Sri Lanka has taken huge strides in improving maternal and child health as well as controlling communicable diseases. The minister pointed out that under the guidance of President Maithripala Sirisena, Sri Lanka is poised to enter a new phase of health development. Dr. Senaratne said that after polio was eradicated from the country back in 1992, Sri Lanka is now expected to be declared malaria-free as well later this year. The minister noted the new Medicines Regulatory Authority established to ensure the quality of medicines and medical equipment at affordable prices is an ideal example for the government's commitment towards this cause.
Well, that concludes today's edition of Primetime News on Newsfirst. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Joel Outskun. Take care and good night.